SBX. Doing another game review for you guys. This is for all my anime fans, all my gamers out there. Um, this time I want to talk about the new Dragon Ball Z, fighterz. I'm gonna say Z, but excuse me. But Dragon Ball fighterz is a very phenomenal game in my opinion because I feel like the gameplay itself brings a lot of impact, and it's the most anticipated game of the year. I feel that you know Dragon Ball fighterz is like the 2D version of the Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighters, and Guilty Gear. This game kind of has like a great pros about this game, and also a little small cons about it. So, anyways, the pro about this game is that the gameplay itself is magnificent. I never thought in a million years they would bring a game like this on a 2D format. Ever since they had the classic Dragon Ball Z games from the PlayStation 1 days, and some of those games really were good, and some of those games really do suck. And Dragon Ball Z is kind of like half and half, where they had great games and they have some bullshit ass games. And this game, however, made it to the good list, made it to the awesome list. I will have to say that it's great that they have all the original Dragon Ball Z characters, the Z Warriors like Goku, Gohan, Krillin, Piccolo, Vegeta, and so on. And they actually bring like Hit and Beerus, and also a character that they created, Android 21. In my opinion, I really feel like I've never thought they'll actually bring another character, just like how Xenoverse had made Toa and Mira, and stuff like that from the Xenoverse series. Do I think that the Dragon Ball fighterz is a lot better than Xenoverse? In some ways, yes, because I feel that it shows you more likely on the main protagonist in the game, Goku, than just basically focusing on your character. Xenoverse, I'm not gonna lie, was a good game too, but it actually went stale for a while. I feel like this game wasn't really overhyped, but however, Dragon Ball fighterz has a lot of hype, and everybody's giving a lot of good words about it, including me. I never really expected to be like a 2D fighting game, but however, it's good. That is something that we could have played back in the PlayStation 2 days, but it enhanced the graphics a lot better, But back in the classic PlayStation 1 days, they did have a game similar like that. Forgot which one was, but people were in love with it. But there's another one like this too, and it really sucked. But I had my doubts about it, because I'm more into like free roaming, free world games where you can move around anywhere you want in a fighting game. But I don't like Tekken or Mortal Kombat type of games where you can move around the surface of the arena or around anywhere you at. But however, Dragon Ball fighterz is a lot different. But what I would say that the pros is like I said, the gameplay is magnificent. You'll have a fucking great time playing this game for some hours. I will have to say that the cons is that I'm not really feeling the whole avatar character, like where Xenoverse you can actually create how your avatar should look like, where you only have like for the fighters little chubby versions of like different Dragon Ball Z characters like Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo, and you name it, and Super Saiyan, and Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, Vegeta, or whatever. I kind of feel that, Xenoverse had a better avatar than fighterz. However, the gameplay itself is a lot better than Xenoverse. Despite the fact that you're roaming around from Xenoverse, and Dragon Ball Z is just straight to the fucking punch. I also say that sometimes the settings is really retarded when you first play the game, as far as reading through all all that other shit. Also, you have to set up the way how you want it to in audio. For example, they set it up in Japanese. I don't know if some of you guys experienced it or not, but I personally prefer the English dub than the Japanese dub of any Dragon Ball Z series, or just the games itself, because it's mandatory for us to have it in whatever language that we're used to. But at the same time, people do love the dubs of any anime. But I feel, though, in my opinion, is that that's just my problem with that. And also too, I feel like my second problem is that about the game is that you don't get any new clothing from any of the characters, like different wardrobe or whatever. You just change the colors. Like, again, it acts like a Marvel vs. Capcom or Street Fighters or Guilty Gear or something like that, And I'm not knocking the fact that it is a 2D game, but I was hoping that it'll be just like Xenoverse, where I'm not saying that it has to be just like Xenoverse, but then again, Xenoverse, you couldn't even change the wardrobe of your character that you selected, like Goku, Vegeta, and stuff like that. But your avatar creative character can change however clothes they want it. The character selection itself, I believe that it needs. I feel like they missing out so many other characters, in my opinion. No Raditz, no Skinny Boo, Omega Shamron, or something like that. I mean, I'm not saying that it shouldn't matter, but I'm not mad that they have like other characters like Frieza, and Cell and stuff like that. No Brawly, that's a shocker. No, you couldn't play as Android 17, but however he appears where you play as 18, where you do the whatever attacks you're doing, and also the special. I guess the creators wanted something light and short, but I feel like they didn't really put it into par of a story mode into, like, for example, Hit wasn't really on the story mode. Goku Black Rose wasn't in the story mode or whatever. However, it's like, it's just added just for the fuck of it. Now, I'm not knocking the fact that they're in the game, but they're missing so many characters from the Dragon Ball Super as well. Despite the fact that they have Beerus in the game, that's dope. But like I said, I think they need to bring more people into the game, which, in my opinion, would be cool. Do I feel like this game has potential? Again, yes, it does have potential. It has so much potential that it really feels like it kind of is better than other 2D games that you ever played. For example, I think it's kind of better than Guilty Gear. I think it's kind of better than these other 2D games that were made in Japan, or the ones that aren't as mainstream as we played. Um, I feel like I said, the story mode really was ass because it's not really much of a story. You're fighting against evil clone versions of Goku, uh, Yamcha, Tien, and and so on. Uh, the story pretty much focused on what went down, how Goku, Android 18, Frieza were not really focusing on themselves, but just focusing on why they are different and why they're fighting against clones and what is happening. And like I said, how they brought Android 21 to the table, and I believe that that's pretty cool that they brought a new character onto a game, even though it could have been a character based on the series, fused with like Android genetics and Majin Buu genetics. At first I really thought that I didn't get what was the whole purpose of having Android 21, but now I do. Because different stories has a different perspective. But when you reach into the end of the arc, you get to realize that Android 21 is good, but there's also an evil side of her that is possessing her soul. I think the game really is interesting that Android 21 has these abilities and is a playable character and absorb all the power and energy just like a regular android, and eat you up like how Majin Buu would do, turn you to like cake, cookies, and candy and stuff like that. You know she's really unique. Of course, if you're fantasizing anime characters and you like the way they look, I admit that she looks sexy, even though she's a pink bitch. I would really say that it's really a good game that you can actually play online, and online is very competitive. I have got my wins and I also have my L's, and people are really putting this game on a pedestal, and it deserves to be put on a pedestal because a lot of people are always been looking forward for a game like this. How the engine looks, how the game is presented. I don't really think that I will play this game every single day if I had to, because when I play a game that depends on how good it is, I will play it. Like, for example, if it was the best game of all time, I would never stop playing that. Back when the PlayStation 2 days or the PlayStation 3 days, if it was a really great game, I'll play it for days and won't stop until I feel like it. But I mean, this game is really good, but if I feel that, I don't see myself playing it for too long, unless I have a friend over, or whenever I feel like playing it, I'll go with it. But in my opinion, this Dragon Ball Fighter really put it on the list of good games, of the Dragon Ball Z franchise. Like I said, I prefer like the Dragon Ball Z Budokai than Tenkaichi, because for the first Budokai series, they had great story mode and great graphics, and also to the gameplay. Budokai Tenkaichi 2 had a phenomenal gameplay. Xenoverse has a decent gameplay and a good story mode too, but I think Dragon Ball FighterZ bring so much into the table when it comes to the gameplay itself. So anyways though, folks, please leave a comment on the comment section below. If you have any experience playing this game, if you have this game, please leave a comment on the comment section below. Like and subscribe. SBX, I'm out. Peace.